Talk to us about the MDS Coordinator.
Well, the MDS Coordinator, first of all, that acronym stands for Minimum Data Set. That's not something someone needs to really memorize, but it's a document that encapsulates the health status of the resident or patient. It encapsulates the services and treatment that a patient has received at a nursing home, and it is that document that determines how a nursing home is going to get paid and how much they're going to get paid.
Now, at the end of that document,
yes,
what is above their signatures?
What's above their signature is a statement that says, I certify that the information that is provided in the MDS is true and accurate, and I have provided it honestly by reviewing the medical records and putting down exactly what I see. It's something to that effect. They're certifying to the federal government that they are telling the truth about the patient's health status.
Now, what I'll throw in there is that it's not even just one person who signs. There's usually about 5 or 6 signatures there. So it's an important document. It gets submitted to the state government and the federal government, and these people are putting together the whole picture of what's going on with these residents in nursing homes.
It's the interdisciplinary care team.
Right.
Because after all, providing care is a tough job, and you need people from different disciplines in order to do that. So you have a group of people responsible for determining what goes into this document. Now, you mentioned the MDS Coordinator. Another name that we found that these people are known by in nursing homes are compensation coordinators. That tells the story about what their job is. Their job is to look at these MDS documents, these forms, look at the patient care, look at what was given to that patient over the course of a certain period of time, and determine what rate they're going to be compensated at. It's a very important job for nursing homes, and they focus tremendously on it.
That's really interesting. So these people are the engine that drives the economy of a nursing home.
They are the people that determine how a nursing home gets paid and how much they get paid. They are the most important person in the nursing home for nursing homes.
Now, here's the crazy thing that a lot of people might not know. You're driving down the road and you see, I'm making up a name, Shady Acres Nursing Home, and it's this modest little building.
I know that place.
Yeah, right. Maybe 2 stories, and you look at it and you say, it's a little country nursing home. That's a $10 million enterprise.
Easily.
I'm not exaggerating. We've had cases with $25 million enterprises that are modest, if not bad-looking buildings, because what they're doing is they're grabbing Medicare and Medicaid dollars, they funnel it through the building, through the patients, through the residents, and then into their pocketbooks.
That's right, and let's talk about how they do that. When you have a patient in a nursing home at Shady Grove Acres or whatever you call that nursing home, it looks modest, absolutely. A resident is in that facility, and what the facility is doing through the help of the MDS Coordinator is looking at that patient and saying, Mr. So-and-so appears to have condition A, B, and C. But instead of just charging for A, B, and C, we're going to charge for D, E, and F as well.
What does that mean? What
that means is that instead of saying to the federal government that this patient requires regular care or non-therapeutic care, we're going to tell the federal government that the patient requires therapeutic care at a ultra-high level.
And that's the funny thing is, you said ultra-high level. Those aren't your words.
Those aren't my words. Those are the words that the nursing homes use and the federal government uses in order to determine what kind of care the patient is receiving. There's an ultra-high care category that says, look, this person is in such great need for medical attention and physical therapy, we need to put them at a special category, a very high category, and you, nursing home, will compensate you for all of the work that you're telling us you're going to do for that person.
So let's come back to what you talked about in the first segment today. A 92-year-old was getting ultra-high therapy days before she died, I assume naturally.
Days before she died naturally.
So how could that be? Or is the answer that it can't be?
The answer is that it can't be that she would be even qualified to receive that kind of therapy in the condition that she was in. And what's happening here is that the nursing homes are pressuring the therapists and pressuring the MDS coordinators to upcharge what services are being provided to that resident. In some cases, nursing home or MDS coordinators have been known to receive bonuses based on how much they're able to secure in revenue for the nursing home.
So that's really amazing stuff. So if we step back, a typical nursing home has between about 150, maybe 175 people.
Sure.
175 beds, as they say.
Beds. Mm-hmm.
Okay. what happens with all of these MDS documents we keep talking about is that it gives you an average of what the government calls acuity level, what regular people would say how sick they are.
Sure.
And there is the truth, right, as to how sick they are and
Right.
the services being provided. And then there is sometimes, not always, what is told to the government. How do you figure out if there is discord between the truth and that MDS document?
Well, it's something that the federal government does themselves. They will scrub the medical records for the actual care that was rendered to the patient. They'll look at ADLs, we mentioned those before. Those are activities of daily living. That's what the hands-on people, the CNAs, provide to the resident in terms of turning and repositioning, bathing, and things of that nature. And then there's also the more expensive services, which is physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. They look at these documents to determine when and for how long the patient received these services. And then they look at the past medical conditions of that patient to see if they even needed those services. Once you determine what health status a patient or resident actually is, then you can look at what the MDS coordinator or the compensation coordinator told the government what the level of care was in that particular case. And what we're finding is that you'll see ultra high care for a person who didn't even receive therapy.
Wow. So now we come back full circle, because who can tell us more than anyone else but the aides?
The aides on the floor and the LPNs. And again, they need to call an attorney, any attorney. And the first step is always to report the violation to your supervisor and try to get an immediate correction in that sense. And we've heard these stories. We've heard CNAs and LPNs say, look, I told the floor nurse, I told the shift supervisor, and they ignored me. In fact, they told me to proceed on and continue doing what I was doing when I knew it was wrong. So the pressure is immense.